Okay, as I said, I have finalized last time with you the novel Crime and Punishment, and I think, really there are a lot of stuff that I can really talk about and mention and discuss, but you see, the time is not really fit to do that, and I really don't have time to do it because, we have to go on to do the other stuff. So if you ever need any question about it, anytime you send me questions and I will be happy to answer. And again, you may find all your answers. I think all of your answers, you can find them everywhere in the net. You will find hundreds of references. And I think you can find a lot of useful stuff you can depend on and you can use in your own way. So our lecture today, our new really topic is something to do with the again, I think the main idea or the main theme is about womanhood, really about womanhood and marginalization, if you like, or really about women's position in society and how society really how society looks at women in general, how and what, if you like, the traditional image, the traditional, for example, picture that people have about, what is a wife, or what is the function of a wife, or what is the role of a wife, or whatever. So there are so many questions that you can ask about this, the kind of topic, but really the whole idea in this play is a short play by the Spanish, a very famous, really Spanish writer, Lorca, as I will show you here in a minute. Really, Lorca gave us a very good example, and here I'm giving you as an example of Spanish literature. Of course, there are many really amazing, famous other names, of course, in Spanish literature, but I chose this one because I think it's simpler, easier, and more modern. There are examples like, going back even to Cervantes, but you see, I never wanted to go back as early as Cervantes in the medieval time, because I thought this is would be going too far back in history or in time. And I think this is a shorter one, and it's really more dramatic and maybe more related to our life in many ways. And really this small play is, dealing with the question of womanhood, really womanhood, how women feel and how women react about, the question of children, or the question of having children or wanting a child. Now, the story here really is quite interesting, and I hope that you can, I don't know, anybody read it? Have you read it? Okay, so yeah, somebody said yes. Okay, now really the play is quite short, and even simple. The dialogue really here is quite simple. We have mainly two main characters, really, Yerma and Juan, Yerma and her husband. And the name Yerma in Spanish here really, in Spanish means the barren woman, a woman, or a barren, or the barren woman, or a woman who can't have children, who can't give birth to children. I mean, there are cases that we have women, in some cases, that they don't give birth to children. And sometimes, we have this in history, and we use the word aqar. And I don't know if this is really a good word to use, but you see, in Arabic, we say this, and and I think all women don't, I think, this is the idea, me here being a man speaking about this, but this is Really, this is, you know, the natural thing, you know, the idea we are seeing here that generally speaking, you know, women expect to have children and to have babies and so on, because this is nature and this is really life. Now, the play is about that, is about women wanting to have children, women's need to have children, the women's urge to have children, the idea that, you know, the question of motherhood, you know, maybe some of you say to me, oh, I don't like children, doctor, you know, maybe I don't like children. I mean, yeah, it could be. There are people who would say, I don't like children. I mean, this could happen by both men and women who would say, I don't like children, I don't want children, you know, fine. I mean, there are cases, and many cases which could be like this, but the play is saying no. You know, natural stuff, nature means you produce, you multiply, you know, you multiply, especially when you think about it, you know, in our, for example, as Muslims, for example, you know, and I think all religions, I think they say that we have to multiply. You know, we say takathur, isn't it? You know, there's, you know, a lot of mentioning of this in all sort of, if you like, heavenly or whatever main, you know, orthodox religions, if you like. You know, if I use the word orthodox, meaning, you know, the big main four, if you like, you know, for religions, the question of multiplication, the question of giving birth, you know, is natural. Now, the play here is about that. The husband here, our friend here, Juan, is a funny man who doesn't care about children. His wife is very traditional wife. She's natural, normal, like everybody else. She loves children. She wants a child. And that's it. She got married because she thought she got married because for her, marriage means children. For her, really, marriage and family means children. Okay? For Juan, her husband, it's not. It's not. He said, I want a friend. I want company. I want just love like that without children. I want complete, you know, independent, free life with no children. No wah, as we say. Right? Now, you know, really marriage means, most of it means wah, isn't it? I think it means you have to have babies. Any house without babies would be funny. I don't know. Would be strange. Would be, I don't know. I mean, it's up to you to think about it, but this is the idea. The play is about that. Is really about that, and that's why the play is a tragedy. It is a very terrible tragedy, because at the end of the day, the wife killed her husband because she thought he cheated her. She thought he cheated her. Not only cheated her, but he really abused her. He accused her of being maybe not faithful. He accused her of being not faithful. And that was even worse to her, when she was absolutely, completely, 100% honest and faithful all her life. The only thing that she thought, when she was a little girl, she had a friend who is in the play here, who is, you know, a child friend, Victor, and she remembers him. And when you are a child, like 12 or 13 or 14, you know, and you have a friend like that, in a very absolutely innocent way, in an absolutely platonic, innocent way, and you think about it in terms of, you know, could be love or whatever you call it, it could be. And her husband really, I mean, Juan, in the story here, I will tell you and I will show you, Juan is jealous to some extent, jealous of thinking that she sees Juan when she goes out to bring water from the spring, you know, because they live in a village, and villagers sometimes they go to the main to bring water, to get water into the house. And you know, we have this in Arabic in Syria, you know, we always say shifta an nab'a, you know, and you know, a nab'a, which is really an amazing sort of, you know, romantic, absolutely romantic, idyllic, even, you know, even idyllic image, like, you know, paradisal thing, to fall in love with a girl who's carrying her, for example, jar or whatever, you know, on her head or shoulder, and you meet her and you talk to her on the way home and so on. You know, all this absolutely passionate sort of shepherd kind of life, you know, which is an amazing sort of romance. Now, he accused her, Juan accused his wife of maybe speaking or talking to Victor, this young boy, who's still young, you know, he's a shepherd, and she's a married wife, you know, and he really did something. I mean, the husband did something funny. He brought his sister to watch over his wife, you know, to spy on her. And really this made Yerma very angry, you know, and still she didn't say anything and so on. But you see, the play is quite short. Finally, you know, Yerma discovered that her man really, honestly, does not want children. Originally, he never said this. He never said this to her. So that's why she thought he really sort of was a cheater. He did not tell her the truth, because she said to him, I married you, I was not in love with you. And she said to him, my father threw me at you. My father threw me at you. And I married you, I never really loved you. But you see, to us in traditional marriage, you know, love comes after marriage. Okay. And she said, I don't know anybody in the world except you. You are my man, you are my husband, and I love you as my husband. And because you are my husband, and I want a child. Okay? For him, he never said that till the end. And that's why she was devastated and she was shocked, especially at the last minute when he accused her of being dishonorable or being unfaithful. And he really accused her of all those terrible things, which is absolutely innocent. So she went mad and she jumped at him. She jumped at him like this and strangled him in her hands. Can you believe it? A woman strong enough to strangle her man. Hello? Boys?
Yes, doctor.
Wafa, ya Wafa.
Yeah.
What do you think of this? She killed her husband because she wants a baby.
Maybe that's why she got married in the first place, or that's why actually the meaning of life for her. So being with her husband maybe wasn't satisfying for her, and baby was the only reason to stay alive, or like the purpose of living, because she has nothing to do else. So if he's not willing to give her that and struggle her, then maybe that drives her mad and kills her husband.
Yeah, but I mean, do you understand that? Do you support her?
Of course not. But I mean, we can trace the psychological effect. We can understand it.
I mean, you would not kill, but I mean, you understand why she did it.
Yes, I do. I understand why she did it, but that I don't justify that.
Amani said, look what Amani said. Wallahi, I think she's crazy there. There's no other analysis. Amani, why you say this? Yeah, yeah, this is interesting. Wafa, yeah, I think this is, you know, we understand her position. We understand she went crazy, of course, yes. Amani, I agree with you, because really it's not good to go and kill your men because they don't give you children. You know, that's not really the answer. That's not the answer. Absolutely, I agree with you. But we understand, and of course, this is the play and this is the tragedy. And she said, you know, at the end of the day, she said at the end of the play, and I will show you, she said, I killed my child, because she thought by killing her husband, she said, I killed my child. It's not only my husband, but I killed my child, meaning he was going to give me that child, and he never did. And by killing him, I actually killed all my hopes of having a child. I mean, people say, come on, why don't you divorce him? Say, hey, get lost, man. I can find another man, isn't it? You know, the idea. Yeah. Somebody said, yes, absolutely. She could ask for divorce. Very simple. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. But you see, how many women in society like that, in that society, remember, this is a rural society. It is a rural society, in Spanish society in the 1930s, when it's very poor, rural village society, which is conservative, really reserved society. Women would never dare to do that, to say, you know, I want divorce because, you know, because of that. Yeah, I see your comments there. Yes, absolutely. So the question really here is the play, of course. You remember, this is a play and it's literature. You know, people normally don't do that. Of course, don't do that. But you see, sometimes, you know, the question here, we should think about her own psychological position. And the play really is about this question of, you know, her own, to understand her own psyche, how she could do this, and why would she do such a thing? Of course, we understand, as I said, because of her absolute anger and unbelievable shock. She was completely devastated and shocked by his accusation of being dishonest, or being unfaithful, or being a funny woman looking for other men. And that was, for her, that was, you know, killing thing, because she said, how can you accuse me of such a thing? You are accusing me of things which I'm absolutely innocent, and I will not accept it. You know, and really this is the idea here. And I think the play is quite dramatic and melodramatic. As I said, the play is about that it's a shame, you know, especially how everybody in the village, many women we can see in the play, many people, and a lot of women were talking about her, were discussing her, you know, and gossiping about her, about whether she has given a child, or is she going to give a child, or whether she's pregnant, or whether she's able to be pregnant, or whatever, and so on. So again, the whole idea of gossip and society, how society sometimes drives some individuals. They, you know, in a way here, how society sometimes really drives some individuals crazy. She was driven crazy by her own husband and by the surroundings, by society, because she was given other options. She was given other options, funny options, bad options, to go to have another friend, to have an extramarital relationship, to have funny extramarital relationship, and she can have a child, illegal child, illicit child, you know, a bastard child, and so on. But she would say, no, I would never do that, you know? So really the play is giving us here absolutely a very traditional question, which is about honor, about name, about the sacred meaning of marriage. Marriage as being sacred, absolutely sacred, is not a game thing. It's not a play thing. It's something absolutely sacred. For her, it means life. It means life and death. For her husband, of course, you know, he does not care about this meaning, and he was very careless, you know, about having or not having a child. Even he said it, I don't want a child. He said it, I don't want a child. And she said to him, why didn't you tell me that before? Why didn't you say it before? Why you cheated me? You know? So it's really a matter of cheating here, because she thought that was a cheat. That was a cheat, because to her and to her family, and the meaning of love for her, is having children. The meaning of marriage is having children. The meaning of man-wife relationship is having children. And this is the idea. You know, to her society, to that society, to the majority of that society, 95% of that society, marriage, love, etc., etc., means family, means kids, boys and girls running around in the house, you know, filling the house with children. Especially when she met that woman, she said, I have 15 children, 5 of them died, and I married twice, and I love men, and blah, 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 blah. And she said, the way I love my man. And she was asking her very funny, intimate questions about, how do you love your husband? How do you talk to your husband? And there are very intimate passages and intimate occasions when she was asking her very private, intimate questions. And she was saying, I don't know, I don't do that, and all this. And she said to her, you know, that means you don't love your husband. And the meaning of love is, you know, and she said, that woman was telling her a lot of those details about her experience as a woman, how women behave with their husbands. And this idea, you know, it is very, very natural, traditional, etc., etc. When we understand how the whole concept, the whole meanings of marriage. Lorca, Federico Lorca here, our man, our writer, is giving us this image here to say, well, society, women are more than half of society. And this is the mentality of women. We should accept that. We should appreciate that. We should honor that. And all religions, you know, God, in all religious, really main orthodoxy, all orthodoxy, it means marriage means children, plus other things, you know, but mainly means children, and so on. If you can't have a child, for some reason, you know, okay, fine, fine. But don't go against nature. Don't go against nature. The play here is saying that this woman killed her husband because he was taking her and going himself against nature, and she couldn't tolerate it. In addition to being accused of her honor and her name, she couldn't accept it. She would never accept it. And I think that's why she killed him. Yes, it's wrong, of course. It is wrong to kill your man or to kill your husband or your wife for any reason. No, killing is totally wrong and totally tragic. And that's why really this play here is a terrible tragedy. Because this woman was driven into madness because of that. Totally because of that. And that's the tragedy. And that's why we call this as a tragedy, you know? And we say it's a shame. It's a shame. It is a shame. He has driven her psychologically into a mad woman. And she said to him, "You are driving me mad. You are making me mad because of your behavior. You're not behaving as a man, blah, 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 blah." And she was telling him so many things about what men should do and how men behave and what are the functions of men in their places or in their homes, and he's not doing his job, or, you know, all these things. Now, of course, as I said at the beginning, you say, well, you know, we don't believe, or we don't think, we don't whatever about the idea of having children or not having children, or I don't want children, or, you know, something like this. Maybe. But as I said, this could be only in certain circumstances, in certain concepts, in certain conditions. Maybe you can say that, and maybe it could be acceptable. Although I'm saying here, traditionally speaking, all I think good, I say here, all good societies, I think in this way, of course, they believe in the idea of natural procreation, which is, you know, a takathur. And here, this is really the idea. Okay? Now look at the play. I will show you here. Maybe I will share with you the play a little bit, and I will show you that here. Let me show you a little bit. So you can see here Federico Garcia Lorca, and the title, oh sorry, what's this? Really the idea is, you know, when you look at this image, of course, as I said, that the play is published in, as you can see, 1934, which is a modern, really, a modern tragedy. Again, notice here that the title said a tragic poem in 3 acts. You know, again, here the idea to say a poem, you know, again, really is a very interesting word to use here. A tragic poem in 3 acts and 6 scenes. Really, I say here a play, I don't say a poem. But anyway, when you look at this image, you can see really the tragic feeling of this. Looking at this image here, can you see my screen?
Yes, doctor.
Yeah. Really, even looking at this image, really looking at this picture, like being in a gallery or somewhere, and you will say, you know, looking at her, and you say, this woman looks really maybe sad, maybe miserable, maybe waiting, maybe very patient, What do you think, Wafa? Do you draw, Wafa? I think do you draw?
I do.
Yeah, what do you think? Is this a good drawing?
I don't know about the classic. The classical is about, it's like posing, not reflecting what's behind the picture itself, but it's just about the art in posing. And here it's as if she's waiting and thinking, that's all. Like rethinking stuff in her head.
Yeah,
And
but do you see any tragedy in this picture? Do you see any sadness or tragedy?
I do, but it's like she lost her mind. She's just lying there, threw back stuff, thinking of what, as if she's already killed her husband here, something, and
Exactly.
she's thinking about it.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
but not
Yeah.
regretting it though. It's like she's thinking, what next? Then what?
Yeah. What next? No, I think she's maybe regretting things and say, well, what did I do? Why did I do it? You know, maybe.
But
Yeah.
like not in a sane matter. She's not in her full sanity. Like she, even if she's regretting, it's not about maybe the killing itself in general, but about her whole life, like everything led to this moment, to the killing. So I feel like I tense the feeling, what next, what will happen then. It won't
Yeah.
solve anything, the killing now.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, again, I think this is, as I said, whenever I look at this picture, I try to think what's in her mind and the way she is. You know, when you put your hand like this up to your head like that, and we say, you know, I mean, really, the idea is quite amazing. I think when I look at this picture all the time, I try to understand the situation. Now, as you can see, the writer or Lorca, you know, gave us the main characters: Yerma, Maria, Juan, and Victor. Yerma as the main character, Maria, who has a child who doesn't care about children and who doesn't appreciate her child. And Juan, of course, is the husband, and Victor is the young shepherd who had a funny, or who was a neighbor, just a neighbor to Yerma when they were kids, you know, when they were children. I mean, they were children, for God's sake. And here, we have a list of other unimportant names, just first woman, second woman, third woman, fourth woman, blah, blah, blah. Like if you remember, in Sadallah Wannus's play, he used, first man, second man, third man, or whatever. And I think this is just to show you again the idea that how this really play, again, the idea, again, the idea and the tragedy. Even in the name Yerma, even the name Yerma means the barren or the dead land, the dead land. And Yerma, our friend, is not a dead land. She's not a dead land. And I think this is the idea. She is a fertile land, but unfortunately, she is not appreciated. She is not appreciated, So that's why she feels absolutely terrible about being not appreciated and not given what she deserves. She deserves a child, but she's not given that child, Again, I think the play here gives us a lot of, ideas, and I really don't have time to read it for you, all of it, but I will read some sections really here to to see for example, at the beginning here, the speech between the dialogue between Yerma and her husband Juan. You know, they were saying, you know, they heard this song, voice singing within. For a cradle, 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 for a cradle we will make a little cabin in the shadow, sorry, in the meadow, and then shelter there will we take. Of course, this is symbolical. The idea here, the cradle, 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 which is, you know, the question here to do with this, you know, this little cot when babies were born, where they were put into like, you know, really that sometimes we say in Arabic, من المهد للحد, isn't it? من المهد للحد, right? And really this is the word here, meaning how the little cot, the little small tiny bed you make for your baby. And this is what's called the cradle. And you know, mothers, when they get pregnant and they start thinking of finding stuff for their babies, you know, the feeling here, the absolute lovely feeling here, that she's thinking about how to find and arrange, you know, stuff for her baby. And I think this is the feeling that all married women would always feel. And we understand why she's, or this song here, and how she is touched by this. You know, again, the meadow and the cabin, you know, little cabin and the shelter and all this, really, these are symbolical, really symbolical for the baby and giving birth for the baby and looking at it as if, you know, like in a natural way, meadow, again, the cabin and the shelter, you know, all this, you know, these are all symbolical things. And notice what she said, Juan, Juan, do you hear me? I am on my way. Yerma, it's time. Have the oxen gone by? Remember, even, you know, at the very beginning here we see Juan always going to work. He's always in his fields. Remember, this is a village, you know, scene. We have, these people are farmers, absolutely like peasants, like very poor families. It's a village area. It's a rural, very rural. And Juan is a farmer who is always caring for his oxen, for his sheep, for his horses, for the field, and so on. He's always outside. He's not at home. He's never sleeping at home. And that's again symbolical. You know, when you are not at home, you know, how can you have, you know, the idea, of course, to say you're not normal. You're not sleeping at home. You are sleeping always in the field. Come on, man. And of course, here the idea really is quite tragic. Notice, he said, see you later. He prepares to leave. You won't take a glass of milk? What for? You work hard and you are not made for work. Again, notice here, she wants to give him some milk. And notice here, even the idea of milk here again is symbolical, really symbolical. You know, as a woman, you know, to give her baby, of course, you give your baby milk. And really, this is the idea, the symbolical here and the symbolism. You know, again, Yerma is always hinting at, you know, having a baby, having a child. And Juan is, you know, funny, saying, what for? Yerma, you work hard and you are not made for work. When men are thin, they are strong like steel. You know, he's saying, don't worry, I'm thin. You think I'm weak, but I'm not weak. He said, I'm strong like steel. Well, we will see what about this steel. You know, the idea really here, the play is mocking him, because later on, he turns out he's not to be. There's no steel, nothing steel about him. Really, the whole idea he was killed by her. You know, where is the steel? He said. Again, Yerma said, not you though. You see, she said to him, huh? But it's not you. Not you though. When we married, you were different. Now you are white-faced, as if the sun never shines on you. I'd like to see you swim in the river or climb on the roof when the rain is beating on our house. We have been married 20 years, and your face gets sadder and thinner, as if you were shrinking. You know, it's really funny, isn't it? And I think she's right. You know, she, again, here, symbolical. You know, when she said, you look funny, you look different, you look white-faced, you look ill. Again, you say the sun never shines on us, as if the sun never shines on you. I'd like to see you swim in the river. Notice again how symbolical she means here, meaning, you know, you are not natural, you are not real, you are not natural. Again, to say, or climb on the roof when the rain is beating on our house. Because kids, normally children, when it rains, I think here, even here, you know, people here in Oman, I think you love rain. You know, last year, I think, I don't know, your class or some other class, you know, it was raining. I said, please, doctor, we want to go out and play in the rain. They want me to stop the class to go and play in the rain. I said, okay, you can go, you know. Yeah, but yeah, it's funny, isn't it? You know, the way she's accusing him, as if to say, you are not real. You are not real. So the question about sadder and thinner and shrinking is symbolical, because she wants to say, you are not real, you are not natural, you're not giving me what I want. I want to be a mother. You know, of course, later on she said it. Again, you know, Juan said, of course, Juan, you know, Juan is not stupid. Juan is not stupid. You know, he knows what she is hinting at. He knows what she's talking about sometimes, you know. Yerma again rising. Don't take it amiss. If I were ill, I would want you to take care of me and say, my wife is ill. I will slaughter this lamb and make her a good meat stew. My wife is sick. I will keep this chicken fat to ease her chest. I will take this sheepskin to protect her feet from the cold. That's how I am. That's why I take care of you. Yeah. You see, maybe, yes, I think, yeah, wives, I think, you know, women, and the writer here wants to say that women are more caring and more passionate and more understanding and more etc. than men. At least here, Juan is not doing that. And she said, I'll do this for you, and I want you to do the same for me. I want you to feel this for me. I want you to say this for me. To say, if I am ill, you say, oh, my wife is ill, I want to take care of her. If I'm, you know, something, you should say, oh, my wife is this, and I want to do this for my wife. If I feel cold, I want you to protect me, to say, I want to protect my wife. You know, she said, this is how I want care. And I think this is true. Really, wives and women love to be taken care of. You know, to feel that they are looked after, well looked after by their men. Because really, that's what marriage means here. And that's what, for her, you know, she said, I do this for you. So why don't you do it for me? You know? And I think we understand that. And this is, as we shall see, this is, of course, we see here that she is always being marginalized, again, as I said, mainly by him, and later on we shall see by, of course, by society. And Juan, of course, he said, and I am grateful for it. And Yerma said, but you don't let me, because there's nothing the matter with me. It's just your imagination. I work hard. Every year I grow a little older. You know, here she said, you are getting thinner, you are getting weaker, and so on. He said, there's nothing wrong with me. It's your imagination. There's nothing wrong with me. Don't imagine things. And he said, I work hard, and of course, naturally, I grow older. And Yerma said, every year, you and I will stay on here, year after year after year. And Yerma saying, as if to say, come on, man, are you sick? Can't you see? Can't you understand? You and I, every year, here, every year, you and I, only you and I. Come on. Again, Juan smiling, again, naturally and peacefully too. The work is going well. We have no children to worry about. Well, notice here he said, everything is fine. Naturally, we are fine. And everything is peaceful, peacefully too. And he said, everything is well. The work is going well. We have no problem. We have no children to worry about. And really, Yerma immediately was mad. No children, Juan? What is it? Is it because I don't love you enough? You know, here again, she's really amazed and shocked. She said, come on. Come on. Come on. Why do you say that? Is it because I don't love you? Come on. Do you think I'm stupid? Why are you saying this to me? Of course, there are, a lot of really amazing passages here and there. As you can see, really, I can't read everything for you, but really she is, as you can see, direct, absolutely direct and real and passionate and loving and caring and real, truthful, honest wife. And she wants her husband to be exactly to be like her. Of course, again here, let me read this. I think here, this section here is interesting to say about nature or natural. Notice Yerma again, as if he's telling her, okay, don't worry, or doesn't matter, or we are okay, we are married, we are happy, so on. And she said, no, don't let me what they say. Don't tell me what they say. As being Yerma, I'm not Yerma, I'm not barren. I see with my own eyes, it's not true. The force of the rain falling on stone makes it crumble to soil. Wow. Really, it's amazing image here. The force of the falling rain on any stone will make it crumble to soil. Meaning even rain will crumble will destroy and make any stone soil. And weeds grow that people say are fit for nothing. Weeds, notice what she said, weeds. Even the word weeds, really the word weeds Sometimes we say unwanted weeds, something which is not used by people, or only some like grass, which is edible for animal. Even she said on that soil, and here she's using really symbolizing her body. Even if you think I'm made out of stone, but if I get rain into my stone, into my body, weeds will grow in me. Weeds may be fit for nothing. And notice she said that. Weeds may be fit for nothing, yet I still see their yellow flowers blowing in the breeze. I think this is poetry, yes. I think this is, yeah, because she said, even if it's weeds, still the breeze, this weed can have yellow flowers. This may be useless, maybe, animal grass would give yellow flowers, and that these flowers will be dancing in the breeze. Going back to daffodils, isn't it? Like Wordsworth's daffodils. Yeah, I mean, here she's speaking in symbolism, and her husband said, okay, we must hope. Yeah, and love each other. Yerma, taking the initiative, kisses and embraces her husband. Sometimes, boys, my boys, where are you? Boys, you should take the initiative. You should make the first move. You should make the first move. Here, really, Yerma, taking the initiative, kisses and embraces her husband. And notice what funny he is. He said, if you need anything, tell me and I will get it for you. You know I don't like you going out. Ya Hurma, don't go out. Come on. And Yerma said, I never go out. You better off here. What? He's saying, don't move out of this place. And Yerma said, yes. Again, notice Juan said, the streets are for idlers. الشوارع مليئة بالمتسكعين. Idlers, المتسكعين. Come on. What idlers? What are you talking about? So you see here, immediately he shows, if you like, he shows his absolute, maybe really not needed jealousy. I mean, okay, we understand he could be jealous of his wife, and his wife said darkly, notice, darkly, of course. The husband leaves, and Yerma goes back to her sewing. She passes her hand over her belly. You see, she passes her hand over her belly and thinking, when am I going to be pregnant? Lifts her arms in the beautiful, in a beautiful sigh, and sits down to sew. And Yerma started to sing, to sing again. And I think this is lovely again. Where do you come from, my child? Where do you come from, my child? من أين ستأتي يا بني؟ من أين ستأتي يا ولدي؟ From heights that are ice cold? From heights that are icy cold? What do you need, my love? The warm feel of your robe? Let branches stir in the light and fountains leap in the air, as if she is speaking to her child. A dog barks in the yard, a breeze sings in the streets. The ox lows for the herdsman, and the moon ruffles my hair. What do you wish, child, far away? What do you wish, child, far away? The white hills of your breast? Let branches stare in the light and fountains leap in the air. I can only say yes, my child. I'll be broken and torn for you. What a grief it is to me now. Your first cradle, this womb. Your first cradle, this womb. When my child will you come? When, my child, will you come? When it smells of jasmine, your flesh. What a shame. When it smells of jasmine, your flesh. Let branches stir in the light and fountains leap in the air. Where have you come from, my child? Yeah. What do you think, girls? Hello?
Hi.
Yeah. Wafa,
I
yeah,
sympathize.
you are my girl today. Very good, you are Wafa. Yeah?
Well, I sympathize with her. I understand how she feels since she really desired that child. And him not only being not willing to give her that, but also like he doesn't allow her to live, to go out or anything. So that child means life for her.
Yeah, you know, your friends are giving in the chat, they are giving, yeah, it's very emotional, isn't it? I mean, we should understand that she is absolutely very emotional about this business of having a child. And she's crying for a child, for God's sake. She's imagining and she's looking at her body and she wants, when am I going to have a baby in this belly? And she's looking at her belly. Huh? It's a shame. It's a shame. Yeah, we do, and I do sympathize, completely sympathize with her. And she's dreaming, and she is absolutely in love with this idea of having a child. I mean, that's all her care in life. She wants a child, for God's sake. And you know, I think this is an amazing thing, really. Please, ladies and gentlemen, I will really stop here and I will continue next time, but please read all this first time